Introduction. All individuals and some businesses are consumers. In the past, unfair or dishonest business practices were not properly regulated. Now, the Consumer Protection Act, or CPA, protects consumers against unfair business deals and misleading conduct. The Consumer Protection Act is changing the way business is done in South Africa. The Act applies to every transaction within South Africa. Its purpose is to promote consumer awareness and to advance the economic welfare of consumers by protecting consumers' rights. The Act is there to assist the vulnerable, the little people, such as low-income communities, the illiterate, the elderly, and the young, for you as a service provider, supplier, or business. The CPA gives consumers the power. Let the seller beware. In the past, the responsibility was on the buyer to prove that he bought a defective product or received an unfair service. Now the tables have turned. The seller is held accountable by the CPA. Legally, this means that a business is more at risk. The relationship between the buyer and the seller is now regulated to protect the consumer from harm or loss. For example, customers can now sue for losses they suffered as a result of being supplied with any unsafe, defective or dangerous products, regardless of whether or not the supplier was at fault. The Act requires every business to promote informed consumer awareness and ensure that all dealings with the consumer are fair, reasonable and honest. All contracts must be reworked to ensure that they are fair, written in plain and understandable language, and contain no clauses prohibited by the CPA. Consumers may no longer be bound by fixed-term agreements which they have signed. For example, the Act allows for a consumer to cancel an agreement with a supplier to avoid being forced into an unwanted extension, such as a gym membership or cell phone contract. The Act has harsh penalties for those who do not comply with the CPA, so your business organization may need reviewing and restructuring to protect against the increased legal and insurance risks.